talking about the prevention versus
promotion, yeah.
focus, where did you see? I see this makes sense for a financial product. Like, how do you think this applies to other type of products, ones that are more aspirational or ones that are more fun as well?
Thank you for bringing that up. In the case of Mint, I assumed prevention would be king. I happen to be right. I think actually there's a segment of users within Mint who we would probably be better off addressing in a promotion-oriented fashion. And so I think you should run a few tests and segment your users ultimately, right? I think big websites, big mobile apps, big organizations segment their customers between, gold, silver, and platinum, or however you prefer to talk to them. I think we need to interact with our users how they want to be spoken to and interacted with, and I think prevention and promotion is probably appropriate for all kinds of businesses. Not necessarily equally, but I think that there are tactics that both need to be used, and certainly something aspirational like Everest, like hitting your goals. Some people are going to need that stick, and other people are going to want that carrot. Yeah.
Hey, Vince. How do you get people, as a financial product, how do you get people trusting, I'm going to put my connection to my banks and everything? What are some tips and tricks to get over that hump?
Yeah. I'll probably get fired for this, but half of people don't. So we do get a great number of people coming through the funnel who are just like, there is no way I'm going to give you my username and password. And so what we did in that email, I think, was a great example of how we are able to win some people over. One, there's this guy named Vince on the other end. He's a real guy, and I could maybe Google his name and see that he's not just some person at the end of the customer service line who's maybe soulless or is Siri or whatever. The other one is we introduced a bunch of references in the bottom of that email, like links to Lifehacker. The title of the Lifehacker article was "Why You Should Stop Being Paranoid and Finally Set Up Your Mint Account." My suspicion is that most of these people were so paranoid they weren't setting that Mint account up, and it turns out that that link, even though it was the last link in the email and it was kind of buried, got by far the highest CTR. So I think that social proof, if you want to call it that, and that authenticity brought to us is one of the best things. And the other thing is we hear it all the time where finally the fifth person I met that said they had Mint said they liked it, so I decided to cave and get it too, even though I don't feel good about it. But we meet husbands and wives all the time where, my husband won't give me the password to the online banking account because he's worried I'm going to put it into Mint. So we have some education to do. Thank you for the question.
I think there was one over here.
Oh, sorry.
No problem. For Mark, can you talk a little bit about why someone would use your product as opposed to the larger product suite that was featured right in front of you?
It's interesting. There's people who care about, for example, legal issues with taxis. So some companies won't let their employees take a vehicle that's not driven by a professional person that's licensed and insured and so on. So we're getting an upswing of corporate customers for that reason, and it's pressuring us to actually add other vehicle types. There's also some of the features I mentioned at the end there, like scheduling and other stuff, which isn't available in on-demand world. So those are two.
I live in San Francisco. The cab drivers have an entitlement issue. It really is. They have a token, costs $400,000 in today's marketplace. How can ratings affect that? Uber will stop people from driving. Same with Sidecar.
We do the same. We'll take people off the system. So passengers write in every day, all day. I could probably reach in my pocket right now, and someone wrote in half an hour ago, and they said, this driver, I got in the car, and the first thing they started to do is complaining about Uber and Lyft. And we'll say, hey, come on, just give the person a ride.
But that doesn't take the driver away. The cab's still on the street. If you get Uber out, Sidecar out, they cannot drive. a black car.
I
or
see
a
what you're saying.
regular
You're saying
car.
they can still drive around, pick up rides. Well, there's a lot of churn and turnover, and frankly, bad drivers do get washed out of the system in general. We are making that much more rapid and making the feedback loop a lot tighter. And frankly, you can't just subsist on street hails today as a cab driver.
Last rebuttal. I
Bring it.
I actually like Flywheel, and the reason I like it because you're changing something which is existing to a modern thing. But unless you tie it into some real action to those folks, it won't happen. I mean, there are other industries you will affect once you can actually solve this problem.
I'm with you. Like I said, we're small but growing. We've been growing 20% every month, for several months now, and it's as we become more and more of the share of an individual taxi driver's day and of the fleet's day, our ability to influence that becomes bigger, and actually fleets are asking us to come in and manage more of what's going on. So.
As an underdog, how do you balance or I guess your vision with just trying to keep up with the competition?
Yeah, great question. And frankly, Uber is doing great stuff. Lyft is doing great stuff. We don't actually need to focus on them to grow our business. We need to focus on the passenger experience and the driver experience and make it better and better every day. And that's how we've been growing. The case studies I showed you, have nothing to do with, the other choices people have out there. It's about consistently delivering this experience for people in our own way that's slightly different. And you can control the tip. Other services, you can't necessarily do that. Some people really like that. But some people can't discover it, and they write us in and say, I didn't want to leave this driver 15%. I thought they were terrible. And then our customer service person writes them back, sorry, you could actually changed it. And now we go back and we say, how can we make this feature more discoverable? So there is really a stick to your knitting dynamic. That's how we've chosen to approach this, not try and, take down the 700-pound gorilla. We don't need to do that. We think the market is huge. It's big enough for many players to be very successful with their own takes on it. And if we get distracted by, what are they doing? We're not going to have the time, energy, and focus to just create a great experience ourselves.